We know this is an important topic, so we'll get our participants up. Oh, you all are coming in very quickly. We're excited for this. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome back to Family Friday webinar series. Today we're talking about advising and registration. For those of you who have not joined us before, my name is Sherry Obrentz. I'm an Associate Dean in the Office for Undergraduate Education. Usually I'm joined by Bridget Guernsey-Reardon, who is our AVP of Family and Parent Programs. She's on vacation today, so you got me, but we have a really great webinar and great panelists today who are going to walk you through the advising and registration process for your students. As a reminder, this session is being recorded, and all of our Family Friday sessions have been recorded and are posted on our website. So if you've missed anything or you want to go back and review any of the information we've already covered, please do so. There's a lot of good information about immunizations, insurance, and my favorite, the transition of care, really things that you can be doing and talking about with your students now to get them ready to come to Emory this fall. So the URL is there, the quick link is there too. Today, you have the treat of hearing from two of our wonderful advisors, Kimber Clark, who's an assistant director, and Angela Sudu, an advisor, and they're going to walk you through a lot of great information that your students have already received, the process as well. They'll go through the agenda too. If you have questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A, and we will either answer them directly to you or answer them live in the chat. And so without further ado, Kimber and Angela, I'll let you all take over.
Thank you so much. It's great to have everyone here today. We're so excited to be speaking with you. My name is Kimber Clark, and I'm an assistant director in our Office for Undergraduate Education for Academic Advising.
Hi everyone, like Kimber said, we're super excited that y'all are here and we're excited to talk about advising and registration. My name is Angela Sudu and I'm one of the academic advisors here in the Office for Undergraduate Education. And so today we're going to talk about kind of a lot of topics. We'll touch on preparing for registration, what your student is responsible for, what is entailed in the registration appointment, as well as add drop swap when they can change their schedule around, and questions that you can be asking your student along the way. So in terms of preparing for registration, number one, submit all of the AP and IB scores as soon as possible. If they're submitted by August 1st, I believe they will be posted before registration, which is great so that students know what they've got credit for and can register appropriately. Additionally, students do need to submit their college transcripts from previous colleges that they attended for dual enrollment, as well as any high school transcripts that are still outstanding. We also have wonderful departments here at Emory. So if your student is interested in any particular major or track, exploring some of those department websites can really help with course selection, finding interesting classes, etc. We also have a lot of track advising presentations. So if your student is pre-health or pre-business, pre-nursing, intending to do the dual degree with Georgia Tech, we've had all of those track advising presentations already, as well as the liberal arts presentation if your student isn't on one of those tracks. And they should be posted on the Orientation and New Student Programs website soon. We also have our course atlas. Your student should be learning about that currently in Emory Essentials. So we do have filters that we encourage them to use. So exploring classes, looking at what they're interested in, and making sure they're on the Atlanta campus and in fall of 22. And then from the course atlas, adding all of the classes that they're interested in to the shopping cart. That primary shopping cart is what they will use to register. So they can put every section of every class they're interested in into their shopping cart. And that will really help us advise them and go from there in the pre-registration advising appointment. So one thing we do really like to emphasize is to have multiple possible schedules. There are lots of students registering at the same time, and lots of great classes that they want to take. So definitely considering as many options as possible, having classes they can swap in and out because classes will fill up. But we want everyone to have an open mind, explore, and really just enjoy their first semester. A lot of the first semester is adjusting to college as well. So lots of schedules, open mind, and enjoy it.
Thank you, Angela. There was one quick question in the Q&A that I wanted to go ahead and answer live regarding IB credits. So if you are an IB student and you wish to have that IB credit reevaluated, you can go ahead and do that. We just ask that you have any credits AP, IB posted before the end of your first semester. Ideally, you would have them posted before registration or before the end of the add drop swap period so that you will be most up to date when you're registering for classes, but we do allow that if you need additional time to have those credits posted. All right. So new student resources. So these are some things that are going to be assisting you as you prepare for your entry to Emory in your academic journey. And so most of these you should already be familiar with and working your way through them. And so I just want to highlight a few things so that you can make sure that you're right on track for everything that your students need to be doing. So Emory Essentials 1 was already due, but it is still available in Canvas. So even if it has been done or if it has not been done, please encourage your students to review Emory Essentials as much as possible. There's lots of great information in there and always accessible. The Everything Emory is an excellent first year guide. It's available online. I go to it if I have questions. So just make sure that your student is reviewing this Everything Emory guide because it really is a useful tool and will help them get off on the right foot here at Emory. And then of course, Angela and I, along with our many other great colleagues, will be hosting pre-registration advising appointments. They start next week, so they're right upon us, July 13th through August 5th. And these pre-registration advising meetings will be in groups of up to 5 students. So your student will have the opportunity to interact with other first-year students, as well as an advising staff member, in which we will review classes, talk a little bit about registration, give the students the opportunity to share what classes they plan to take so that advisors can give feedback on schedules. Just a really great opportunity for students to get engaged with an academic advising staff member before they even arrive on campus. Once your student has finish the student profile, they're going to get an email that will tell them how to schedule their appointment with their pre-registration advisor. So make sure if your student has not already done that, that they go ahead and do so they can meet with an advisor before August 5th. Over 1,000 have already signed up.
So in terms of the registration timeline, students are going to enroll on August 9th at noon Eastern until midnight that evening. And they'll enroll in the first 8 credits. Now, this is really helpful because it allows students to prioritize what's most important to them. So a lot of our pre-health students might prioritize biology or chemistry, while pre-business students might prioritize maybe accounting or ISOM. So this really allows students to prioritize what's most important for them. And then the next day, August 10th, at noon Eastern through August 11th at midnight, students will register for the remainder of their schedule. So I did see a question in the chat asking how many classes we recommend first year students take. And we actually go based on credits rather than classes because credit hours can vary. So we do recommend 15 to 17 credit hours for an incoming first year in their fall semester. But there is a minimum of 12 credits and a maximum of 19. And now the reason we recommend 15 to 17 is that in the first semester, students really are adjusting, they're making friends, they're exploring campus, and we want them to have the ability to do all of those things without feeling overwhelmed in their classes. Additionally, that does allow students, if anything comes up, or maybe they sign up for a class and realize that it really doesn't work well for their schedule, or that they're struggling more than they'd like to, 15 to 17 credit hours allows them to take a partial withdrawal if they need as well. So we also recommend that students do prioritize their first year requirements to some extent. The first year seminars, they do fill up very quickly. There are some that are super popular and they are very small classes. So if your student is really interested in a particular first year seminar taught by a particular faculty member, I would encourage them to try to get that one in their first 8 credits. Now, if they're more flexible and maybe they're on a particular track that another class would be more beneficial, then I would say to maybe pick the first year seminar in their next semester, or to be a little bit okay with a different topic. So that's kind of the first year enrollment appointment. So 8 credit hours on the 9th, and then the remainder of their schedule on the 10th and 11th. So this allows for some prioritization. And then after that closes, we do have what we call add drop swap from August 23rd to September 7th. Now, add drop swap is when students can make adjustments to their schedules. It's usually during the first week of classes, and we have just extended it this year from 1 week to 2. So this allows them to kind of go and experience classes, feel out their schedule, and maybe say, oh, an 8:30 isn't going to work well for me. Make sure that everything is a good fit. So this is happening in real time, and it happens for all Emory students. So schedules are very dynamic during this time, as well as class enrollment. So if your student doesn't get their ideal schedule during their enrollment appointment, they may be able to make some adjustments during this time frame. So do keep in mind, though, registration is a process, not an event. We try to remind our students of this all the time, just because your schedule will change so much. And then finally, everything does count toward graduation. So if your student gets into a class, but it's not really that exciting to them, that's okay. Those credit hours will still be beneficial in the long run.
Angela, I just wanted to highlight something that you said, that add drop swap is something that every student is doing. I think we've run the numbers on this, and 90% of students will make at least one change during the add drop swap period. So we really want to normalize this. And you've said this, we have it throughout our presentation, that registration is not an event, it is a process. But your student really might be adjusting their schedule through September 7th, and that is okay. So as parents and family members, if you can help keep everybody calm, if you can stay calm too, remember that this is just the first semester. They have so much time to try different classes out in the spring and other years as well. And that goal to get to the 15 to 17 is success, because everything does count towards graduation. So thanks.
Absolutely. And there is one question that I do want to answer live. Someone did ask, how would you know whether you should take 12 credits or up to 19? How would a student know? So for that particular question, I would say that's something I would encourage your student to discuss in their pre-registration advising appointment with their advisor. We do recommend that they balance their schedule well with their other courses, making sure they're not too heavy on STEM or too heavy in the humanities or anything like that. But I would still encourage students to aim for that 15 to 17.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about general education requirements. We call them GERs. And if you look at this table here, you'll see that some of them are in blue and some of them are in white. The ones in blue are going to be the ones that your students take during their first year. So health and ECS, all first year students will take them in the fall semester. So we can count on those two courses that will at least be a part of their first semester schedule. The first year seminar and the first year writing can be taken either in the fall or in the spring. And during the pre-registration advising appointment, the advisor will talk a little bit about how a student might choose which semester they may take one of these courses, or if they even need to take the first year writing based on AP credit. The remaining classes, the ones that are here in white, make up the rest of the general education requirements. And these can be completed at any point during your student's Emory career. Any of the continued writing classes will not be taken until that first year writing is complete. And then the other requirements, like I said, can be taken at any point during the Emory career. Some students, or most students, will probably take more than just the first year requirements at some point during their first year as well. They can be completed at their own pace. And in fact, they really give the students an opportunity to explore, especially for those who may not know what they actually want to study yet. We actually don't even allow students to declare their major during the first semester, because we really want to facilitate exploration and allow students to really start taking advantage of the liberal arts education that Emory has to offer. And so please know that with the declaration of major, we have students who will change their major 1 or 2 or even more times at some point during their academic career here at Emory. So if we don't know right now, It's completely fine. And again, to reiterate what Angela said, aiming for those 15 to 17 credits per term so that they stay on track to graduate in 4 years. And one of the questions that came up in the Q&A was about prioritizing popular or high demand classes. And so there are several first year seminars that really excite our students. Many students will try to take biology and chemistry, some of these more high demand classes. And so as Angela alluded to earlier, really just looking at what the students are interested in taking and making sure that they're flexible. We do keep an eye on class sizes and demand so that if we see something is filling up very quickly, we may need to alert our departments so that we can adjust accordingly if that is necessary.
So we did touch on this a little bit already, but we do have a lot of advising available here at Emory. So students will work with their pre-registration advisor in advance of their enrollment appointments. And I did see someone earlier asked if their pre-registration advisor is their advisor. And for most students, yes, that is the case. There are a few students who have some sort of conflict and they might be working with an overflow advising staff member, but your assigned pre-registration advisor is your advisor. So additional advising that's available is the nursing advising for pre-nursing students, the pre-business advising, pre-health advising, we have pre-law advising through our career center, and we have dual degree engineering advising for the students who are going to go on to Georgia Tech as well. So each of these track advising units have posted sessions. They're available in Emory Essentials 1, and then we've also had live webinars for these as well. That should be available on the new student programs website soon. So definitely encourage your student to watch these. There's great information in them if they haven't already taken a look. And keep an eye out for that information as well during orientation, because they'll be having additional track advising sessions then. I
just wanted to add one more thing about those advising, because everybody's going to have an OUE advisor, and we know that so many of our students are interested in multiple of these tracks. And so if at all your student has an interest, even if it's an inkling or a maybe, please, please, please have them review the information. All of these advisors are available to first year students from the very beginning. And what we hate to hear later on is, I didn't know that person existed, or I didn't know I was allowed to talk to them. So they're available. Angela highlighted those webinars that happened yesterday and today that'll be posted, plus their presentations. But this is an additional advising network or advising group in addition to the OUE advisors. Sorry, Angela.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And there was also a presentation, I believe, on liberal arts as well that just happened. So that will be posted shortly. And a lot of our departments have also posted introduction videos that have advice for students interested in particular majors within the departments as well. So there is so much advising available in addition to their assigned OUE advisor. And also we're happy to help facilitate students getting to the right people as well.
Great. And there was one question about scheduling an appointment with an individual advisor. We're going to talk about advising opportunities in a little bit, so we'll definitely hit that. All right, so add-drop swap. Add-drop swap is really an opportunity for your students to finalize their fall schedule. And as Sherry mentioned earlier, many of our students will not have a final schedule until that last day of add-drop swap on September 7th. So this period of time gives students the chance to decide if the schedule that they have created is one that they want to stay in. It gives them the chance to attend classes, to talk to the professors, to evaluate the syllabus, to really look at, is this a good balance of classes? So they may be attending classes during the first 2 weeks that they actually end up maybe not taking by the end of the add-drop swap period. So really giving the students an opportunity to figure out during this August 23rd through September 7th period what their final schedule is going to look like, so that by September 7th, they've got that schedule good to go, and that's what they will be in for the fall term. Again, emphasizing this 15 to 17 credits. I know we said it multiple times, but we really want to hone in on that because of multiple reasons. It allows your student to finish and graduate on track for 4 years. It also allows your student to have the wiggle room in their schedule to be able to withdraw from a class if they need to withdraw from a class. All students must maintain 12 credit hours in order to remain a full-time Emory student. And so if a student is in 15 or more credits and they decide after a couple of weeks that this schedule actually isn't working for me and I need a little bit of space and want to withdraw from a class, then they have the ability to do that while still maintaining 12 credits and full-time status. Okay, so here's that student support during the add drop swap period and advising that might happen for your students after or once they get to Emory after their pre-registration advising appointment. So as you can see here, and I know that this has lots of dates on here, but again, it's going to be posted so you can take screenshots, or we are going to be readdressing these dates with your students during our pre-registration advising appointments as well. So during, we're actually going to be having some walk-in or drop-in hours during registration. So while registration is happening for your student, advisors will be available virtually to assist your student along the way. And then once classes start, we will be having in-person advising so that your students can meet with advisors during the add drop swap period. The August 24th through September 7th is this add drop swap period, and we will be having advising as well for students. Individual appointments with the student's actual advisor in the OUE will begin after add drop swap. So starting around September 8th or 9th is when your student would be able to book an actual individual appointment with their OUE advisor. But in the meantime, plenty of opportunities for students to come to our in-person or virtual drop-in hours. Pre-health advising and business advising will also be available. So keep an eye out for when those hours will be posted. And of course, we have faculty advisors as well. So plenty and lots of opportunities for students to meet with advisors for questions that they might have about course selection or registration, anything around those academic needs.
So questions you can ask your students, and we really want to emphasize that you're asking your students this because this is their time to shine. It is their responsibility to take the reins here, but you can support them by asking about these. So first of all, did you submit your AP or IB scores? Ideally, they have those in before August 1st, but they do have the first semester. So I do know there was one student who was worried about an IB score not being available in time. That is okay. As soon as you can, the better though, for advising purposes and getting things squared away for the fall semester. You should also see those posted in Opus by your pre-registration appointment in August, if you submit them by August 1st. Of course, submitting your previous college transcripts if you dual enrolled, and your high school transcript. And for any previous college transcripts and dual enrollment, you'll want to see those credits posted in Opus as well come August. Has your student finished Emory Essentials 1? Again, it's still available, though ideally they've already done it. And what did they learn about Emory through Emory Essentials 1? We covered so much about how to use the course atlas and adjusting to Emory and preparing for pre-registration. So there's really a lot of great information in there. Did they schedule their pre-registration advising appointments? Over 1,000 students have already scheduled, so that's wonderful. These are coming up though. They start Wednesday the 13th, and they do go through August 5th. So we really want to get students in and answer their questions so that they have more time to work on loading up their shopping cart, making those various schedules, etc. And then asking them what they found in the course atlas. What classes are interesting, what have they put in their shopping cart, what are they excited about. Also keeping in mind in the course atlas, some classes do say closed right now. Those are for first year students. So it's okay if they say closed if it's their first year writing, their first year seminar, etc. And then what other information do you think they'll need to gather this summer or at orientation? What do they solve questions about? Would they like support figuring out? These are all some great questions you can ask your student to help them prepare for coming to Emory, for registration, and getting a good schedule for them as they adjust this fall. And continuing on supporting your student, so we really want students to feel confident and empowered during the registration process, and keeping in mind, reminding them it's a process, not an event. Most of the time students don't get their ideal schedule on the first round, but that's okay. Between add, drop, swap, and wait lists and things like that, most students do get a pretty great schedule that they're happy with at the end. So recognizing it's a process, helping them figure out their backup plans, and encouraging them to have patience is wonderful. And then, of course, reminding them that there isn't a perfect schedule, and that's okay. Sometimes those imperfect schedules allow us to explore. In fact, in my own experience in my undergrad, I ended up taking a cultural anthropology class my first semester that I was not too happy about, but it ended up counting toward a double major I added along the way. So everything often does work out. And even if it doesn't count toward a double major you add along the way, hopefully you still enjoy it. Also keeping in mind, everything will count toward graduation. So students do need 124 academic credit hours. And even if you're taking a class, or they're taking a class that isn't in their major, it will ultimately count toward that 124 credit hour requirements. And then finally, if your student didn't get the classes they wanted, what are they excited about? It might not be the perfect schedule, but hopefully they've got at least 1 or 2 classes that they're really looking forward to. And encouraging them to explore. This is really a great time for your student to practice resilience and explore, even if that's not their intended goal. And just as a reminder to you all as parents, something one of our colleagues says all the time, that when your child is at Emory, they're our child too. So just a reminder, we're here for them throughout the process, and really want them to explore, but also have a great first semester.
All right, so we're getting close to wrapping up, but before we do, we want to make sure that you are aware of all of our key fall dates for the 2022 semester. So as you know, Add Drop Swap will begin on August 23rd and run through September 7th. First day of classes is August 24th, so make sure that calendar is marked. We won't have classes on September 5th. And some of your students may enroll in classes through a wait list. And at some point during registration, these wait lists will be purged and it'll be a free-for-all. They'll just be open. And so students will have the opportunity to try to jump into a class that way. We'll talk about that with them during their PRA meeting. Any kind of changes that need to be made to your student's schedule need to happen before August 12th. So that is if they want to change to from graded to an SU grade, or if they would like to withdraw from a class, October 12th. So definitely want to mark that on your calendar, because we do not allow exceptions. There is a one-time late withdrawal deadline for first year students who are in their first year. So that's a little bit later on November 11th. Classes end on December 6th, and then you've got reading day, finals, and end of the term. So as you're making plans and arrangements for finishing the semester, maybe you're booking a flight or deciding on when your holidays will begin or winter break begins, taking a look at our calendar and making sure that you're not accidentally scheduling something over when your student may be having a final. Mark all these on your calendar. You'll be good to go.
I just wanted to add 2 quick things about the deadlines. I would really recommend that no flights are booked until your student has their schedule. The great thing about Emory is that the final exam schedule is attached to their class schedule. So those are posted once they know what that schedule is. But every year, I know Kimber and Angela will be laughing, we'll get a student saying, but my parents booked my flight and it's during my chem final. So please, please, please make sure that they review that. The other thing is, while the end of term is December 17th, the residence halls actually close for winter break the day after final exams end. So that will be a little bit earlier than that. Your students are going to get a lot of information from Res Life about when they close and what they need to bring home and all of that. But if you can delay booking their December travel until they had that schedule and hear from Res Life, that would be really, really important. Okay. Well, I just want to thank Angela and Kimber so much for being here today. You have all asked a lot of really great questions in the chat. I know Kimber and Angela are answering them as well. I did put in the chat to the detailed calendar for Emory College. And so that is the best calendar for you all to use because it's specific to students in the college, which all of our new students are. If you look at the registrar's website, it has the School of Medicine and the law school and other things that don't always apply to us. So really important that you're looking at that college calendar. Coming up in the next few weeks, we're shifting gears a little bit to finding community and connection, what to expect during move-in and orientation, and of course our parent and families office hours, just for any questions you have. The what to expect during move-in and orientation on July 29th is also open to your students. So we hope to see parents, families, and students on that webinar as well. A lot of this information that we talked about today will be covered in that pre-registration advising appointment. So I recognize that there are a lot of students actually on this webinar today, which is great. But you can also ask those questions, or your students can ask those questions in their pre-registration advising appointments over the next few weeks. So we hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, a wonderful rest of the week as well. And we look forward to seeing you on July 22nd. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.